Hello, everybody. I wanted to share a form with you that gets triggered on the real estate side. It's very important when the natural hazard disclosures are pulled. If the property is considered in a fire zone, AB 38 notice pops up on the NHD forms, which is very important to look over your NHDs. So in this particular one, the property is located in a state or local high hazard zone and may qualify for AB 38 disclosure. So what this is doing is it's triggering a form that's, I'll show you guys what it looks like. This form right here, the fire hardening and defensible space disclosure and addendum, which pops up. So we had a meeting earlier with our rep for the NHD, Sage Gomez. I'm going to put her information on the email that's going out. But when that's triggered, because it's in a fire zone, we have to fill out this, or the client has to fill it out, this disclosure. And basically, let's scroll through it real quick. Number two, if all these questions, usually the seller doesn't even know if it is in a fire hazarding zone, unless maybe you're in the mountains or let's say Santa Barbara, or areas that are prone to fires. But some areas that you may not even know, they are considered in a fire hazard zone. So most likely it'd be a no, but consult with your sellers. And part three right here, we're going to leave it. Part three, there's a little box. Is there any local compliance requirements? Uh, is there subject to local vegetation management ordinances? Now, this one is incorrect. It should be is, because most likely it is. But in this case, for this client, before we send it over to the other side, the buyer side, we'll actually have a call out to the city to see if there's any local management ordinances. So obviously we know it's in a fire zone, but we don't know if there's any local. It's easiest to say yes, but we just wanted to verify with the city and this particular city, which is in Jurupa Valley, if there's any local ordinances. So most likely it's going to be a is, but in this case the seller put not. But we're going to double check their work. Part B, seller representation of property compliance. We're going to leave it with one. We're not going to touch anything here because it's the seller's unaware of any property compliances with state or defensible space law. So leave this one blank, other than checking one of these boxes. Now for C, we're going to leave a blank too because the buyer is responsible. We're going to leave it buyer responsible for any documentation. So it doesn't have to be done prior to the close of escrow. Technically, it's supposedly within a year's time, the buyer will take responsibility of, if they have to go out to the fire department has to go out there and give them the report. So we'll leave that blank in this case C, because there's a bunch of ors, or. And we're not going to we'll get onto that one-on-one, but if we just leave it as is and not check anything, the buyer will be responsible. The local agency for the documentation to be tamed is, actually at the top of the NHD report right here, this is an address to the agency, which is the fire department, address, phone number. So we can put that right here, that information right here. Seller signs it, buyer signs it right here. And let's see here. Final inspection, number 4, we're going to put, unless it's been done, which most likely it's not going to be done, we're going to check seller does not have a copy of the report and buyer may obtain a copy at. We're going to refer them back to this fire department over here, the one that we just looked at right here. And this is for our NHD company put this up for us. So this is very handy. I'm also going to include in the email that I'm going to send out to y'all a link right here, and this is from Sage, our NHD girl again. This is to check flood and fire zones. So if you want to do a pre-check, that's most optimal, and again, this is for the real estate side, because you're going to want to know maybe going into the listing, if you just take it, if it is in a fire zone, order the report, because I'm going to toggle back over here. If it is in a fire zone, we're going to go all the way to the bottom of this NHD report. I'm sorry, at the top. And we're going to click right here, this link that's going to be on there. Allow, open up. Oops. Let's see if it opens up here. Here we go. This right here also too, you can check to see if the property is in a fire zone, but the NHD company recommends us using the link given. But if we need to, what we need to do is put the information of the property owner in here, who's going to be at the inspection, which usually is going to be us, the agent. Fill it out, and then next, and there's just one other page, but basically we're putting in for a inspection, and it could be, according to NHD, it could be up to 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. But again, it doesn't need to be done prior to closing. Now, what gets a little fuzzy is if you have properties, let's say, are in the mountain area, or I don't know, where maybe the agent who knows about this, they might not want to close until they see what's what, right? Because if it's in a fire zone, because another thing too to take into consideration is the homeowners insurance. A lot of homeowner insurance companies are not insuring in fire areas, and from what we're told, California Fire Plan might be the only option, as with farmers, as we know, is still doing properties that are in fire zones, but they're going to be a lot more expensive. So this is something to consider, especially too if you're dealing with the buyer. Are they going to want to buy a home that you may never have known that it's in a fire area? Because the insurance, in fact, for this buyer is going to be more expensive. So have any more questions, please call me on this one. This is a big one. We can go into more depth if you have any questions. Talk to you later.